Hello and welcome to the Surviving 1984 Director's Cut reunion, where Jake has just won in a vote of 7-1. Jake, how are you feeling?
Oh my God, it feels amazing. I dead ass at the end didn't think I had it. So just I was very surprised at the 7-1. So thank you to everyone who voted for me, and this has just been amazing. I'm so ecstatic right now.
Alrighty. We are going to start out with the rewards. We are going to start out with the awards. After awards, we'll just let y'all talk amongst yourselves about the game, how y'all are feeling. So yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Actually, Michael, it says that the host disabled screen sharing.
Team Caleb.
Team Caleb.
Is he here?
Just like the rest of the game? No, he was not.
Okay, yay.
Don't be mean, Keaton.
All right, can you all see my screen?
Like, Murphy, get off your Skype.
Oop.
Michael is running the show, bitch. You ain't fooling nobody.
Like, Murphy.
All right, can y'all see my screen?
Oh, you got PowerPoint for this shit. Okay.
Michael, I love it when you're so stern.
Brandon, we bougie here, honey.
We see it.
All right, so the first award is Most Robbed Prejuror. The nominees are Keaton, Chrissy, and Nicole for this one. So the award for Most Robbed Prejuror goes to Keaton. Keaton was basically the Boston Rob of the pre-merge. He ran the Murphy tribe. He was the person who was basically in charge of the whole pre-merge portion of the game, and he was fully aware of that. So him being taken out by an idol and one vote was kind of shocking, but kind of not at the same time. But for that reason, that is why we gave him Most Robbed Prejuror.
Really quick, I would like to give Connor credit for that move as well as Brandon. Connor did tell Brandon to play that idol, and Connor was very much in charge of that. Also, credit to Brandon for correctly playing and finding that idol as well. I think production was shocked when Connor turned on Keaton.
All right, next award goes to Most Robbed Juror. For this one, we had Hearn being the last standing Murphy, Brian, who was taken out in the fire making challenge, and Jackson, who was idled out by Mr. Connor. So the award for Most Robbed Juror goes to Brian. Brian was a big force in this game. So to have his fate rested in the fire making challenge and losing, it was kind of shocking. But at the same time, Brian fought his way every single round. And he had a lot of heart into this game. So that is why we gave Brian Most Robbed Juror. Michael, do you have anything to add on?
I think that, Brian, you played a really good game, especially with your reputation. Also, to the other two, Jackson, you played a great game as well. It was very sad to see you go in the manner that you went. And then Hearn, you played great as well, being the last Murphy standing. I love that Michael was the last Murphy standing. I think that's hilarious. So yeah.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
The best move. We have Brandon's idol play, Jake putting Brian into fire making, and Connor's idol play. Award for best move goes to... We gave it to Jake putting Brian into fire making. Brian was, like I said, a big threat in the game, and Jake was all about timing and when was the right time to make the right move. And knowing that Jake knew that he needed to get Brian out before the final tribal council, and to see him put Brian into the fire making challenge to hopefully send Brian packing was a really, really good move on his part. For Brandon's idle play and Connor's idle play, they were obviously really, really good moves. However, it still left them in not a great position after the idle plays, and they did unfortunately get voted out a couple rounds later. So for that reason, we did give Jake this award. Michael, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, you're good.
Alrighty. Next award is Worst Move. For this one, we had Livingston and Ben voting out Caitlin at the final 9 instead of flipping, and Ike claiming to have an idol, leading to his vote out. The award for Worst Move goes to Livingston and Ben voting out Caitlin at the final 9 instead of flipping. I think Michael and I were kind of both confused why Livingston and Ben didn't flip at this point in the game, because they were given the opportunity and it would have flipped the game on its head. There was a really tight-knit alliance running most of the merge, and when Livingston and Ben had the chance to kind of disarm that alliance, it was kind of shocking to see them not take the opportunity, which later led to Livingston getting voted out after double live night. So that is the reason why we gave Livingston and Ben that award.
I do kind of see the reason why they wouldn't, because obviously then they could end up in a minority in the final 5, though I think there would still be so many opportunities to get people to flip back. Like obviously the Davises would end up in a minority and needing somebody to latch on to. So I think that would have been an opportunity to kind of take over the game that just wasn't taken. So
Too much faith in Brian and Jake, honestly. That's
Yep.
what it was. I thought they were gonna vote him out at 8.
Alrighty.
Vote who out?
I don't want to say your name because I've said it too many times.
Let's all take a shot.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Did you guys know he won sequester?
Yeah, did you guys know that
I
Hunter
didn't
won
hear that.
sequester? All right, next award is Best Alliance. The nominees were Pilltown, Sexy 6/5/4, 4 people that exist, and the guys who didn't know each other. The award for Best Alliance goes to the guys who didn't know each other. This alliance was a force to be reckoned with. They also had a lot of say in what happened in most of the merge. And yeah, Michael, did you want to talk more about this one?
Yeah, so this was Jackson, Jake, Hunter, and Brian. They pretty much ran this entire game. Obviously, they had Jackson leave a little prematurely, obviously, than they wanted to, which probably helped them in the end because it was one less number for them to need to flip on later. They didn't have to end up flipping on themselves, which kept them more close-knit together. Those 4, as well as Nicole and Constance, were in the Sexy 6 alliance, which became the Sexy 5, Sexy 4. But that core alliance was those 4 guys, and it was a pretty much a flawless game, if I have to say so myself.
I take credit for both alliance names.
All right, so congratulations on the guys who didn't know each other for that award. The next one is Social Butterfly. For this one, we had Caitlin, Jackson, and Kendall. The winner for Social Butterfly goes to... For this one, we gave it to Caitlin. Caitlin may have not have been the most strategic force in the game, but when she started playing at the beginning of this game, after a couple rounds, she started amping it up more and more and more, and people started liking her more and more and more. People started trusting her more and more and more. And also when it came to the merge, I don't think anybody had a bad thing to say about Caitlin. Everybody liked Caitlin. Unfortunately, she just was on the wrong side of the numbers and ended up seeing herself going in a unanimous vote. Yeah, that's why we gave Caitlin Social Butterfly.
I don't have anything else to say.
Next award, Biggest Comp Beast. So for Biggest Comp Beast, the nominees were Brian, Hearn, Jake, and Hunter. The winner for Biggest Comp Beast goes to Hunter. Hunter was a big force to be reckoned with in the challenges, and a lot of people were worried about letting him make it to the fire making challenge because he was so good at challenges. He, I believe, won 3 immunity comps too.
Hunter won 3 immunity comps, and then even though Keaton did throw the coin comp, Hunter did win that for his tribe as well. So he had 4 individual wins. Plus the Davis tribe obviously dominated the challenges. Obviously at the beginning it went back and forth, but towards the end of pre-merge, it was the Davis tribe won all that they could. So.
All right, so congratulations to Hunter for winning Biggest Comp Beast. Next award is Biggest Strategist. The Biggest Strategist went to we did give this one to Brian. It was very, very close between Hunter and Brian. However, Brian was very, very dedicated in everything that he did in this game. And he had things planned out rounds and rounds and rounds in advance for when he wanted them to happen. And most of the things that he wanted to happen ended up happening. He was also in a really good spot. No matter what the preconceived notion about him was coming into the game, everybody thought he was going to be this shady person. And he ended up gaining a lot of people's trust and making it to the final 4. Also, Brian purposely played his first idol to take the target off of his back because people were wondering where the Davis idol was. And people were saying that it was Brian who had it. So I thought that was also a very, very strategic move to play that idol, get it out of his way, get that accusation off of him because he still had another idol in his pocket the whole time to keep him protected. Michael, did you have anything else to say about Brian being Biggest Strategist?
I completely agree with everything Blake said. I think that Brian's first idol play was actually a very good move for him because it did set him up. Obviously, he still had the other idol, and he knew that that time would have been a good time to flip on him, so he had that safety net. And then if he didn't get flipped on, then it just lessened his target. So I think that was a very good move. I think Hunter also played a good game strategically as well. I think Brian just was a little more calculated on the end game and more prepared for when a flip needed to happen. So excellent job, both of you. And Jake as well.
Yes. Congratulations, Brian, for winning Biggest Strategist.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Underdog of the Season. For this one, we had Ben, Hearn, and Livingston. Before we get to the winner of this, I just want to say I think all 3 of you were some of the best underdogs that I've ever seen. You guys started out in very rough positions, whether it was Hearn starting out in a bad position at the merge or Livingston starting in a bad position at the beginning of the game and making it to where he did. And same with Ben. Ben was on the outs at the very beginning of the game and he worked his way to the final 3. So before we get to this, I just want to say all 3 of you were really, really good underdogs and you played really good games. So winner of Biggest Underdog goes to, we did give this one to Livingston. Ever since the first vote out, Livingston was supposed to be the first one voted out of this game. And to see that he made it all the way to the merge, and then he got to play that middle position for a couple rounds, and then he got back into the underdog position and made it a couple rounds after that. I thought it was very impressive. I've never seen somebody play a game for almost the entirety of it, being in that underdog minority position. And Livingston did that and finished in 7th place. That's a really, really impressive way to get through the game, in my opinion. Michael, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everything you just said. I think that Ben was also a big underdog. If you would have asked me at Merge if I thought Ben was going to manage to get to the finals, I probably would not have told you yes. So good on Ben for making it there. And then with Hearn, As we mentioned before, in the Best Alliance, there was the alliance of 4 people that exist, which was Connor, Luke, Kendall, and Keaton. And the fact that none of those 4 ended up being the last Murphy standing was very impressive to me, that Hearn was able to be that last Murphy standing. So despite none of you having too much control in this game, the 3 of you all making it to the final 7 was very impressive.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Next award is Hero of the Season.
Same nominees.
Nominees for Hero of the Season: Ben, Hearn, and Livingston again.
I've seen this anime.
The winner for Hero of the Season goes to... We gave this one to Ben. Like we said for the Underdog award of this game, Ben was in a rough position in the very beginning, but worked his way into a good position. And I definitely feel like he kept the integrity of the game and respect for everybody on the way. And he ended up making it to the final 3. So I think that's pretty impressive and pretty heroic. Michael, did you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Pretty much everything I said for Underdog of the Season kind of goes along with this. So
This is great. I've won villain so many times, but never hero.
So congratulations, Ben, for winning Hero of the Season. Next award is Villain of the Season. The nominees for Villain of the Season were Brian, Constance, and Hunter. The winner of Villain of the Season goes to... Mr. Winner of Sequester.
Hell no. Constant should have won that shit.
I don't support.
Hunter, we gave Hunter Villain of the Season because when it did get to the end game, Hunter was very, very in your face about all of his feelings, how he felt. Him and Brian got into a pretty heated altercation. While it was entertaining, it was definitely some jabs made at each other. Hunter was also a very, very big force on the Davis tribe. The Murphy tribe had been talking about wanting Hunter out for a while before quote unquote pre-swap. That never happened. So yeah, I think Hunter was very villainous in the way that he played the game, but he also played a very, very good game. Michael, did you have anything to add?
yeah, I completely agree with that. So Hunter was obviously very in your face. Anytime you were in any kind of hot water, you were not afraid to talk at Tribal, call people out. I think that was great. As far as Brian and Constance go, I think Brian was kind of right there behind you. I think you more throughout the entire season were more vocal. For Constance, I think Constance was more perceived by the cast as a villain than he was by the viewers or by production. Constance, as far as production saw, we didn't see too much controversy with Constance this season as much as you guys seemed to. So I don't know if that was just us not being in the PMs or what it was, but yeah. So
I just want to say, Hunter being the biggest villain was the only reason I think I had success in this game, because I have never had success in an org before. But I think this is the first org where there was a villain that was higher up than me, and that is, I think, the only reason why I had success. And I truly believe that. It's like Hunter really stole my villainous character away from me, and I think that's why I did well, honestly.
I concur with that statement.
If you keep building that resume for All Stars.
If you bitches didn't target me since day 1, I wouldn't have had to be a villain.
Hunter being cast on
even the other tribe, you didn't even know me.
Blame Keaton for
I
that
did.
one.
I never targeted Hunter.
Oh, Kendall, you and Keaton were the first 2 I was targeting.
Alrighty, so congratulations to Hunter for winning Villain of the Season. Up next, and our final award is Player of the Season.
Of course, it's 03.
For the nominees, we had Brian, Hunter, and Jake. Before we get to this, I want to say I think all three of you played really, really strategic games, social games, and I think all three of you were very good in the challenges as well. So no matter who wins this, y'all should be proud of yourself. So the winner of Player of the Season goes to... We did give this one to Brian. Brian, like we said, for strategic, Brian was very, very calculated in every single move that he did, in every move that he wanted to make in the future. He made sure to build alliances with almost everybody on the Davis tribe, and almost everybody trusted Brian. When it came to the merge, again, everybody wanted to work with Brian, even after the preconceived notions about Brian coming into the game, where everybody thought he was shady. Everybody kind of started trusting Brian and wanting to work with Brian. And Brian was definitely a huge force in this game. Michael, do you have anything to add?
I 100% agree. I think that Hunter and Jake were also big contenders for this award. Keaton, you are also a contender for this award if you would have made it farther. But Brian, you played a great game. I don't know whether you would have ended up with the jury votes or not, but I think that you played the best game this season, followed very closely by Hunter and Jake. So,
all right, so again, congratulations to Brian for winning the Player of the Season.
Thank you.
That is our last award. So yeah, how do you guys feel about how the season went, or how do you guys feel about what all went down throughout?
No comment. I don't want to talk about it.
I wish there was a swamp.
Also, no comment.
I wish there was a swamp. What the fuck was that about?
So we wanted since the season was Murphy versus Davis, we really wanted to keep that intact, the whole pre-merge portion of the game. And while I do think that definitely screwed some people over, non-intentional by us, we just wanted to keep it Murphy versus Davis. I think everybody did the best with what they had coming into the merge, and I think everybody tried their best to try to.
You all just could have just rid of pre-merge. You guys made it Murphy versus Davis the whole game.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Bro, it annoyed me that it was such a pagonging, you know.
I say it once, I'll say it again. If I make it to merge, it's not a pagoning.
Well, you didn't.
Okay.
I wanted to work with
I
so many
also-
people over there, and I couldn't.
I do kind of agree with Keaton in the fact that I think he could have gotten Livingston and Ben to flip a little easier. And I think things could have gone a little bit different if Keaton did make the merge.
Potentially.
Potentially, yes.
And also,
I think
Connor didn't play his idol. Livingston was getting 10th place, at least from my perspective. Like, Livingston was gone 10th if he didn't have the idol. So I think Connor's idol
Thank you, Connor.
delayed a lot of the, like,
Connor.
stuff that happened.
Yeah.
So Connor, I do have a question for you as well. What made you choose to idle out Jackson over
Anyone.
anybody
I know that there was originally a plan to split. So if you don't know, the other vote that night was Caitlin. So there was originally a plan for Caitlin and Connor to split their votes, one on Jake, one on Jackson. So I want to hear, because I think the final decision was made after we already had the Zoom made. So I just kind of want to hear your thought process of why you ended up not splitting it.
Well, so like the original plan was to split because we wanted, instead of like waiting for cracks to form, we wanted to form it ourselves. The issue with that is we and Caitlin talked about it, and I was like, Brandon was telling me like, Connor, they're all voting you. It's gonna be fine. 'Cause me and Brandon were telling each other everything the whole game. I think the issue was I talked with Caitlin, and we just thought about like, if we split, if one of them throws a vote on like a Michael, then this whole plan is like done, then Michael goes, and then it's like where we were again. Would have been a really bold thing to do, and honestly, I worried about one person voting randomly, and then it messes everything up, which is, I really wanted to do the split thing, and Caitlin's like, Connor, I don't think it's worth it, and I just ended up listening to Caitlin. Kind of regret that, but that's why we just voted both on Jackson, and personally, I wanted to do Jackson. Granted, like, my first choice was to do Hunter, but my reason why I didn't want to do Hunter is because I didn't know where the other idol was. I didn't know who had the other idol. And I didn't want to vote Hunter and then someone play the idol on Hunter because it's too predictable because he just called me out last tribal. And then 2 idols are played and then, okay, one of us goes anyway. I wanted it to be a surprise because I wanted to make a dent. I didn't want it to be a waste. And Jackson, I think, because it was really close between Jackson and Jake, and I was between the two. I think it came down to, like, I wanted to take out someone who I felt was more of a social player and leave more of the threats in because I knew after that play I was going to be viewed as a really big threat if it worked the way I thought it would. And so I wanted to then next try to appeal to the threats and hopefully then it would keep me around for like a shield for them, which is what I tried to do, but it didn't work. And I wanted to take out someone who was more social on the social aspect, which is why I ended up doing Jackson. And also, I was like, Jackson was talking to me a lot, but then I like discovered everything he was saying was basically lies. So I was like, you know what, I'll do Jackson.
Yeah, I thought it was a good move just because he was kind of like no one was really targeting him, and if you wanted us to make a move, it wouldn't have been to take out Hunter. If you took out Hunter or like Brian, we just would have been like, okay, fine, let's keep going and picking them off. So I think that was what I thought you did it for.
Yeah. And Brian had immunity too. Yeah. I really regret not splitting. If that would have been so crazy if they had to throw at tribal council, that would have been so good. I'm so disappointed.
I mean, I also think that this might just be because I'm me, but I think taking me at 10th, I think when the cast was revealed, I was one of the only people that people were like, okay, he did win sequester, so he can't make final 3. People considered that I was going to win in the end just because I was this big name, I guess. So I think voting me out at 10th would have been a bad move because I think that was too early. So I think it was good what you did.
The only reason that I had originally targeted you when I went out was because, where'd you go? Livingston told me, I was like, everyone's saying my name, like, what is the only way to fix this? And he was like, well, maybe I'd flip for Hunter. And I was like, okay, then it's Hunter. And then that's where
that was the smartest move. I definitely had the least connection. Like when I told my alliance, I was like, I didn't talk to people. I really did not talk to people one-on-one besides my alliance. So my social game was not that great. So that was the best bet, was to flip on me. I think Ben could have potentially flipped and so could have Livingston. So I don't think you're wrong for going after me.
I contacted Ben too, and then they were pussies about it, but it's fine, whatever.
Like I was shocked that they didn't flip on me until they actually did.
No, I definitely didn't have that big of a social connection with Hunter, and that was a lot. I mean, like we said earlier, it was a two-way street. But Luke, I knew you were leaving, and Livingston did kind of convince me to like do something, and I was like, I don't want to do it yet, just because I don't think it'd be a good move yet. But I talked to you about the weather, stuff like that.
I was like, what the fuck is he trying to do right now? It was so irritating.
I was like, what are you trying to do? Like, you didn't even bring up any strategy. I was like, what?
Because I was trying to take my time. Literally, it was fitting though. Keaton was like the only person I really trusted, and when he was out, I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got nothing left to go.
Things totally could have been different had things been different, but
it's just goddamn Connor switching everything up, bitch.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else that they want to specifically talk about, or is there anything anybody wants to know about the season? Anything like that?
Well, you said that. Why not? What the hell did you guys think about the season as a whole?
Okay, so I liked this season a lot. I think it probably helps that my tribe was the one that dominated the season. I think it did get somewhat predictable, and it stayed that way for a little while. Like at one point, I think Blake wrote out the boot list, and pretty much the only thing he got wrong, I think he flipped Hunter and Hearn, and I think that Jake and Brian were kind of interchangeable for us. But we definitely figured that Jake or Brian would be going at 4 unless one of them happened to win the fire making challenge. So, I really liked this season. Blake was more on the side that it got kind of boring and predictable, though everybody pretty much agrees that this pre-merge was really good. So, I will say that, in our cast assessment, we did winner picks. my winner pick for my tribe was Ben, and then Blake's winner pick was Jake for my tribe. So both the winners of this series were picked by one of the hosts before the season.
So in the end, Blake Murphy did win.
Right. And then on the cast, or the people that did the cast assessment did a draft, and the winner of that was Chris, which is Seisha's underscore and whatever numbers he is. So he won the cast assessment draft. And then I believe, let me see, the fantasy draft winner on our Facebook page. Let me find it really quick.
Jonah.
Chris is an icon.
I think it was Jonah, right?
Jonah. Love Jonah.
Shout out to Jonah from season 3 of 1984. He won the fantasy draft. I know that the alumni did a draft, but I'm not sure who it was that ended up winning that. So you guys will have to ask them when you get in there. We will be adding all of you to the alumni chat. Those of you who
Don't do it.
PREJUROR is already in there.
Michael, this is when you raise the cost for the Jake Fathead.
There you go. I agree. We have a Jake Fathead sticker. Buy your or merch. So I can link that in the description.
My only other question is, who has tie-breaking powers?
What do you mean?
For second.
Oh, I am not sure. I think technically you guys tie for second. So I'm not sure how we'll
Ben has second.
make that up.
Ben got second.
Thank you, Keaton.
Ben has second. Let's all call it a day. Can we all? I think everyone here can agree on that one.
Nope.
Hunter.
I vote.
Okay,
Hunter.
fine. I'm sorry. I forgot that Hunter. I forgot that Hunter did that.
Hunter has the sole vote because he has the vote steal.
I used my vote still. Speaking of a vote still, because I meant to say this in the final 3. Jake, you said you flushed my vote still. I would have went home if I didn't use it. What the fuck?
Yeah, but he said he caused that on purpose.
He did not cause shit. They were going to vote me either way.
Jake's a good player. I believe Jake.
I do know that Jake and Brian had planned to turn on Hunter, but obviously since you had the vote steal, they wanted to wait till after it was gone. And so then after it was gone, that's when they wanted to turn on you. Obviously, I believe you won an immunity. Well,
at 6. Hunter would have probably gone at 6.
Yeah.
I wanted Michael gone at 6.
So, because I think Livingston went at 7, and that was because if they would have flipped on you, they would not have had the numbers at 6. And so that's why they waited till 6 to try, but then you won immunity. So that's kind of how that went down. So.
Yeah, whatever. You guys could have taken him out at 8. You guys were so extra.
I'm so upset me and Hunter never got to make our alliance.
I know. And you kept, I kept seeing it freaking tribal, and I wanted to be like talking to you the entire time, and
I know.
Never got the chance. I wanted to give you a shout out, and I couldn't even do that because it would expose that I knew you.
Damn it.
So I can reveal some of the powers that were in the game. So that first week when you guys did telephone, Livingston and Kendall each got they got a second guess that they could use whenever they wanted for the idol. It was a one-time second guess, so if they would have gotten to where they were in trouble, they could make a second guess for the idol, which Livingston did use pretty quickly, and so did Kendall as well, because obviously Livingston was in a bad spot for a good portion of the pre-merge, and then Kendall obviously was targeted as well. And then Hunter's steal a vote, for those of you who didn't know, came from the coin balance challenge. Since he won that steal a vote. So the challenge that Keaton threw, and Livingston said he almost wanted to step up for that, but ended up not doing so. So if Livingston would have stepped up for that and won it, Livingston would have ended up with that steal a vote instead of Hunter.
I went in assuming Livingston or Hunter were going in. Either I'm going against someone that I'm trying to keep in while getting Chrissy out, or I'm going against the person I know I'm going against at merge. So
Yeah,
Fuck off, Keaton. You had no reason to take me out.
yeah, I did. Plenty.
She was
Me and
so,
Livingston-
she was, I'm done.
Me and Livingston knew you had something, Hunter. We knew it. Because
Oh yeah, y'all are like, how do you not like if you have a representee for your tribe? Obviously,
Right.
Like, why would y'all
And-
not step up? I suck at coins, but I was like, I'm in a good position even if we lose. So
well, he didn't even tell me
Hunter
until
and I had
after
this-
that challenge, so I would have stepped up if I knew about it.
Then
but-
Hunter and I had the same thought. We are both like, we're in a good position.
yeah,
Let's try and get ourselves in a better one.
yeah. I was like, there's got to be something if you win.
I just thought there was going to be something, period, because I've seen that happen too.
Well,
So
I actually thought it was going to be like a temptation in that me and Keaton would be the only two to like know about it on call. Like I thought it was going to be step down now, yada yada.
that could have been interesting because
But-
then I would have stepped down and got off call immediately.
Yeah, because I found out like 10 minutes after we got off call, Keaton. I thought that I didn't win anything, and then it popped up in my prod chat.
Force a double tribal or something.
I would have forced a fucking double on the spot.
And then Connor found his idol, I think, with his second guess. And what was funny about this was we had the idol numbers predetermined, pretty far out from the game. But Connor guessed the right number for the merge idol back in the pre-merge, and Caleb had mentioned like, wow, Connor just guessed the merge idol number. And then when we get to the merge, Connor guesses that number again. And we're like, well, there it is. And then Brian got his idol night that, the merge idol. Brian got it the night that Connor played it. So it was like at midnight, Brian's first guess, he guessed it correctly. Like we barely had it hidden. Like it was right back in the game. Brandon, it took a couple guesses, and then Brian's original idol took a couple guesses, but
And I found the idol the first time. I was like, oh, there must be something behind this idol clue. So I went through the whole thing. I was like, okay. So there was like 5 numbers that they gave us on the idol clue. It was like 5 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 20, 20 to. So I was like, all right, 5 to 9 is 4, 9 to 20 is 11. And then I went like that and I added all the numbers and it added up to 59. I guessed 59. It was the idol. And then I was like, was that the reason it was the idol? And they're like, no, coincidence.
no, it was literally, it just worked out that way. And I thought that was kind of hilarious that Brian thought like out of the box like that. And it wasn't even like an actual thing. It just worked out for him. I thought that was pretty funny. You guys did a lot better with idols this season than last season did. Last season, we had
Julian sucked at idols.
We had 3 people go out with idols in their pocket. 2 people played idols when they absolutely didn't need to, and there was no strategy behind it like Brian had this season. So obviously, Brian's one idol play was to lessen his threat or save him if something was happening. And then his other idol play, there wasn't any other time to use it. So, yeah.
So we're better than season 1. Can we just say that now? Can we just say this cast is better?
I don't know if Blake Murphy agrees, but
Blake Murphy doesn't count. It's okay.
Blake Murphy was gone 5 tribals ago. It's okay.
Excuse you.
So.
Murphy, how do you feel about this season?
Oh gosh.
Tell us how you really feel.
Should I wait for the recording to be over? Or should
No, shit on us right now. Shit on us.
I thought the pre-merge portion of this game was amazing. It was very, very entertaining. When it came to the post-merge, I thought it was very, very predictable, and I thought it got kind of, I don't want to say boring, because there was still like drama, but for a viewer's perspective, I don't think it was as amped up as it was pre-merge. So that's why I think that, I don't like, the pagonging was so predictable, and I was just waiting for that big move to be made, Davis to flip on Davis, or if it would have been Murphy ahead, I would have wanted Murphy to flip on Murphy. Like I didn't want a pagonging, basically.
I wouldn't have allowed Murphy to flip on Murphy so soon.
I do kind of agree with what Blake's saying. Like there was, it obviously was a pagonging, but I think that there was reason behind that. Like obviously, people winning immunity at a correct time. Some people just if they would have flipped, it would have screwed them over. So there was reason behind it, but also it would have been cool to see a little bit more of a war. However, in seasons like this, the people that were on the top play amazing games. So Brian, Hunter, Jake, like good on you guys. Like you guys dominated the season. Constance as well, he was right there with you guys. He might not have had as much of a say, but he was right there with you guys in running this game. So, and honestly, if it wasn't for Constance and routing out Nicole, Jake would have been gone at 18. And I think the other three guys and Jackson, I think they would have been goners. So if it wasn't for Constance, this game would have been completely different. So I don't know if Constance is necessarily getting the credit I think he deserves.
That's
I don't
why I weighed my vote.
out of
I
a game.
remember that.
I do not think Constance played as bad of a game as some people are perceiving. There is a lot that I think a lot of people weren't able to see. I do think that Constance took a backseat to some bigger decisions that were made, and obviously there was the alliance of Jake, Brian, Hunter, and Jackson that Constance was kind of attached to as well. And then they had their sub-alliance, but I think without Constance, that alliance just wouldn't have ran. So. Is there anything else that you guys want to know about the season or to hear about? Is there anything?
Also, I want to say, like, if these were put into episodes, if this was like real Survivor, I think the final 5 onwards was very thoroughly entertaining. And then the pre-merge obviously was very entertaining as well. I think the Murphy tribe was
Okay, so what I've been saying is I think that Blake casted a bunch of big characters and I casted a bunch of big game players. And I think that is where that's why the season lasted how it did, was because Blake's people weren't as big into the strategy of it, whereas yes, Keaton, I know you're here, you exist, but my team obviously was more into the strategy of it, where Blake's team was more into the big characters and being that for the show. So obviously that
Connor were the only two players in Murphy.
It also doesn't help that Murphy ended up losing the challenges that they did. It was
that was so fucking irritating. I have never, like, pardon my mouth, I have never been on a tribe with so many fucking losers in my entire life. Literally just game-wise, not like as people. Like, we played that Flip Cup. I had that shit. I think I messed up maybe once and got back on the other ones. Like, every comp we did, like, whenever we did the match game, I matched with someone every single time. And I was so pissed that people were not up to my level, because it was like, I'm performing and no one else here is. And I was so fucking over it the entire goddamn time. It was so irritating.
I love watching Luke play Big Brother in Survivor. I have to say that much.
Say something about the match game. I think it was really funny that Luke and Chrissy matched on bread and butter, like it was the bread and butter thing. But then your whole team matched when we said popcorn, you all said butter. But then that alliance you guys made, you guys didn't name it the Popcorn and Butter Alliance. You guys named it the Bread and Butter Alliance. And I just thought that was really funny that it was what you and Chrissy matched on, not you guys.
Because
you mean the tribe? Oh, you mean the alliance of 8 that excluded Caitlyn and fucking Ike?
Yes.
Literally, like, that was so irritating. And then I had made that group of me, Keaton, Kendall, and Connor that was like trying so hard. I feel like Keaton was the only person I could actually trust, because Kendall, like, I loved her as a person, but I did not really enjoy playing with her because we just have very different styles. So playing with her, it was like very quickly I was like, okay, I'm over this. And then Kendall was gone, and then fucking Keaton was gone, and he was like the only other person. I had like 4 final 2s at the beginning, and he was the only one that actually like made it somewhat far, and then he was gone.
I also had like 5 final 2s, and I had to start voting them off really fucking quick.
I think like everybody trusted Keaton, and that, like, I think Nick Benner put 100% of his trust into Keaton round 2. And then Keaton was not afraid to send Nick Benner back in.
I fucked up with Benner. That was one of the only things I fucked up pre-merge my game was saying that I threw the challenge on accident to Benner. Like that was, no one was supposed to know that, and I accidentally say that, and I had to take over 25 minutes to try and calm the man down and tell him that I didn't do that, and that I knew about the vote, which I shouldn't have done. I did 2 things that I shouldn't have done to him. And that was why he lost a lot of trust in me after that conversation. And I had to like say, no, it was just to try and save you. I want you to know that. And then for the throw, it was like, it was something for Taze. Don't worry about it. It had nothing to do with this game at all. Like I'd be very careful with my conversations because everyone fucking trusted me. And I did not know how much trust people had in me. And I was paranoid every vote. Every fucking vote, I thought it was me because I felt like it should have been me every single vote. I know you felt the same way, Brian, because your game was good too, so you should feel that way. When you're playing a good game, you're gonna be scared.
Every time I went to Toronto, I was like, I know it's not me. Except for when I went, literally every time I was like, we already decided because we had like a group of like 4 or 5 that I was like, all right, well, I mean, like, we know who's going. Like, it's easy every week. The only week that I was like sad about was when Chrissy, she kind of screwed herself over. And like, that was like, okay, whatever. But Nick, like, I was okay with him going because like we weren't that close, but I really liked him as a person. But other than that, like, literally everyone else was like, bye. Like, none of them had any sort of attachment or real quality that I was like, okay, you're going to be a real key player in this. Like, no.
Yeah, Nick Benner definitely said that Keaton was his #1 ally very early on. And then it was very clear to me that Nick Benner was not anywhere at the top of your priority list. So.
Oh, God, no. He was fodder to me.
So Keaton, was your biggest regret throwing the challenge, saying that like if you didn't throw that challenge, arguably you would have never been at that tribal council when like it was you for the Brandon Idol play? Like that tribal council would have been like 1 removed because it never would have happened if you would have won.
Ghost Island.
There's definitely an argument for that. Like, obviously, hindsight's 2020. I'd have to say, almost 100%. That's the thing I regret most. But I feel like I would have. In everything I did, I still make the move I do because it makes the most sense for me in the moment, and that's what you have to work off of. So, do I wish I actually went for it? Yes, because if you watch the video, I'm like this, and Hunter's like this. Very clearly, I should have been doing this because it keeps me more stable, but I chose to do this on purpose to keep me unstable and have it fall earlier. And I fell with my stack in the same moment, being very fucking obvious that I did not actually try. So, like, I do think it was an error, hindsight 2020, but I don't regret doing it.
That would have been a lot more interesting if you didn't do it.
Oh, God.
6-6, you were at the merge.
6-6, I'm at the merge. I probably lose Livingston, but I grab Ben. Because more likely than not, Ben and I look at each other. It's like, it's been 2 years.
Right, pretty much.
Like, I think you would have turned into my #1. I think I would have said to Connor, bye-bye, and you would have became my legit final 2.
I think I played my first ever group game with you.
Yeah, we did. And then I played your fucking crackhead Mud Idol fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And with Brian, I was going to be ready to play with him for at least a couple of rounds because I was like, he made it this far. He's in control. I know that. Let me talk to him.
Yeah, it was obvious he was in control.
Yet I think he would have voted me. At least, like, maybe after a round or 2.
I don't know. I was very like unsure. I was like, Keaton knows how I play, and I knew that. I think that you would have gone. I probably would have voted for you because you know that the people I start with is the people I run with, and I feel like you would have known that. So that's kind of what. If you would have made the merge, I probably would have been like, Keaton knows the people I pick on the beginning of the game are the people I roll with. So I was like, Keaton will know, and he will try to get the votes on me right at the beginning.
The only way I don't do that is if you tell me these are the people I was with the entire pre-merge, get in. Like, if you say that to me, that's the only way I don't. Even if I feel like I'm on the bottom, I could keep you a little longer. But in any of the circumstance, I'd be like, he's not telling me, he's not letting me know.
I probably wouldn't have done that.
Then I probably had to go for. If I make merge, I go for Hunter. Hunter goes for me. It's a fight, and I think Hunter goes unless you play your idol on him, and I don't think you do.
If I had any control on Davis, Brian was leaving early. Yeah.
Also, Brian, I just want to say, like, you've obviously played some pretty crackhead gameplays in the past, but I do want to give you credit. I think I was definitely impressed by your game this time around. I think you switched up enough while keeping some the same, and it definitely worked out for you. So I was pretty impressed to see you go far. When it was for 15th place, I was a little scared for you because that's your curse, but I was glad that you broke that and you made it pretty far.
No, Brian definitely deserves Player of the Season.
Thank you.
Brian always plays a great game. It just usually takes himself out really early. His biggest enemy is himself, and this time it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know a person that benefits more from a no swap season than myself.
Oh God.
I'm the definition of like a winner of I can be Richard Hatch, but I cannot be season 40, like winning season 40. No, like I could win season 1, and I think that's why I did well, was because it's like I did well because it was no swaps, everything was in control, like it was very controllable. Whereas usually it's like all chaotic. I think that I did well because of no swaps.
I think Michael Davis has said this a lot of different times. That twists. And, oh, hello?
No, you're good now.
I was just saying, Michael has said several times that the twist of the season is that no twists.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
There were very minimal twists, but
yeah,
I did like that experience.
Yeah, the twist of no twist is honestly at this point the biggest twist in itself, because you guys were so paranoid about a swap, you were so paranoid about a whole bunch of different things, and then none of it was there. The only stuff that was there was the steal a vote and then idols, and that was it. And then obviously we did the double tribal, and then double live night. Like it was so basic, and I really like that. And then also the final tribal council, the fire making challenge. That was the only other twist. So
I like that.
I really liked the lack of twists, because I think that keeps the game more like
pure.
Yeah, pure.
Here's my thing about the fire challenge, and I want to know if anyone agrees with me, is I've always thought, big threats benefit from the fire challenge, this, that, and the other. And I've always stood by that, and I was like, oh yeah, big threats end up having a better chance because of the fire challenge. But if it wasn't for the fire challenge, I would have voted out Hearn at 5, Hunter at 4, and unless they won the immunities, I would have been at the final 3 with some combination of probably Jake and Constance.
Well,
so I said in my production chat, I was like, if there wasn't a fire challenge, I hypothetically could have won the season.
That's true. And sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. I was done.
I was gonna say no one wanted to go against you. My first thing that I was gonna do is put the two of you, Jake and Brian. Second, I was probably gonna go against Jake because I thought he had a better chance with the jury, honestly. And yeah, because you with all your you sent people out the door, kind of pissed at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it was probably me against Brian.
Ben, if you do the second thing, you'll lose. Because Brian was probably just winning. I had contact with several members of the jury. They were just going to vote for Brian if he made it to the end.
Yeah,
he played head and beyond everyone else, so it's hard to not vote for someone who played a strong game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys have any other questions for anything that happened in the season, or did you want to know anything in specific?
I actually want to know, I don't know, I know Nicole is here on the Zoom. I don't know if she's actually here, but after Nicole went out, she had said that, I had said to her, I was like, hey, I heard you were trying to flip the votes on Jake. That's why you went and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, that's not the case, but I'm not going to influence the game. So I'm very curious about the Nicole vote out situation and what was reality and what wasn't reality. I don't know if she's here or not.
I'm here. I'm doing some other stuff, but I heard my name, so I started listening. I've listened to nothing thus far. So who all's on here?
Not me anymore. I'm sorry, I have to leave. It's been great, guys.
Oh, you're cool.
We a bunch of Murphys. It's a bunch of Davises and me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here, Nicole.
So basically, Constance is in my alumni chat, and I know that he gets very angry when people are not loyal to him. So I basically was doing whatever Constance wants in that game. As soon as he was revealed, Matthew was here, and we saw it, and we screamed and laughed and said, well, there goes my game. So Constance was the one that came to me and said, I told Tim I would save him if you want to. And I said, do you want to? And he's like, whatever you want. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And he kept telling me he wanted to do that. So I called him and he said, Tim's being mean to me. And I'm like, well, then do we not want to vote him out? And he's like, no, I don't trust him. He's saying things behind my back. And I said, okay. Okay, then we won't vote him. We'll vote him out. Like him. I mean, I've hosted him before, so I knew everything I said to him was going right back to everyone else. So I love Michael and Blake, but I really didn't try in this game because I knew I had no shot in hell of like getting anywhere. Because, I mean, if your closest ally tells everything you say to everyone, like it's just it's not gonna work. So
Constance came to us and was like, Nicole wants to vote out Jake. And we were like, okay, we'll vote out Tim this time, but Nicole, we got you next time.
So here's the thing. He was like, we should vote out Hunter. Tim wanted to vote out Hunter. I'm like, I like Hunter. And he's like, well, what about Brian? And I'm like, I like Brian. And he's like, so who then? And I just was quiet. And he goes, Jake. And I'm like, I don't really talk to Jake. So if you want to throw votes on Jake, throw votes on Jake. That way, if any fucking idol was played, no offense, Jake, you would have been the one that got sent home because I talked to Hunter.
Yeah, for me, voting you out, Nicole, is really an anything but me situation. I mean,
and Brian, I never once spoke to Jake's. I mean, nothing you could have done to save me anyway. Like, I mean, me, you, and Livingston, and even if Constance had stuck with me, that would have been 4 votes. So it wouldn't have mattered.
So Nicole,
but like, I knew all day.
Yes, I believe, and the reason that it wasn't a secret is because I had told Jake, Jackson, and Hunter that I had the idol at that point in the game, so they knew we didn't have to like pre-plan for there to be a backup in case you had the idol, because they knew I had the idol. So I think that was part of the reason, as well as the
the reason was because Constance called me and told me everything you guys said. Like, I don't know how you guys don't understand that that's how it works with Constance. I love him. He's a great kid, but like he cannot keep us.
Oh, I knew the exact same thing. I saw that cast reveal. I saw Nicole and Constance together. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Nicole. Like, I knew it was gonna be what was happening
there was
to you.
literally nothing I could do. Yeah. I mean, it was just. I mean, Keaton's in the alumni chat. Like it was just easier to just be like, "This is your game, boo. I'll help you get as far as you can." Like it is what it is.
So would you have to merge?
Huh?
Would you've kind of denied the fact that you would work with Connor? And I based a lot of my decision based off that. I'm just curious if were you and Connor a legit thing, or was that total paranoia?
No, the person you would have had to worry about was Hearn. Like if I would have aligned with anybody, it would have been Michael. I love Michael, but no, I mean so Ben and Livingston had no business staying loyal to you guys. But if I was in that group with you, I would have been stupid to leave a group of 6. What I would have done is pulled Connor and Hearn on the side, and when you guys tried to make a move, then I would have had backup plans. I would have had some.
And then Keaton gets ignored.
I'm acknowledging you now.
One there, but again with Constance there, I would have. That being said, I can't believe Ben on the way out, I tried to throw you the bone as best I could. I'm like, if I'm not in a group chat with you right now, you need to be making a move. We were in a group chat since day 2, and I was like, I did not want to throw under the bus the people I was in the group chat with, but I thought you would be like, oh, I'm not in a group chat with her, so I am on the outs.
Mm-hmm. I was on the outs, and I just had to go by whatever people told me at that point, and they told me the vote was you, and I don't know what else.
Oh, no, what I mean is I figured at merge you would see that those 5 people had been together since day 1, So you would have been better off going with the disjointed 5 people on the other tribe because they couldn't even get.
Connor threw his vote. That's all I gotta say. Connor threw his vote.
No, I had the idol at the merge tribal council, and I swear to God, I was messaging Hunter and Jake minutes before tribal council. I was like, there is no reason for Ben and Livingston to stay with us. I have this idol and I'm about to go home with it, or one of you are going to go home. Like, there's no reason for them to stay with us. I was so shook when Ben and Livingston voted with us in the first one. I thought
you guys were good. You guys were good. Honestly, you had me convinced.
Yeah, that's the whole person alliance worked, I guess. But I was
Ben's an idiot. Livingston's an idiot. Y'all should flip there. What the fuck? If you know Connor's throwing his vote, 6 becomes majority. You have the 4 dumb fuckers from Murphy and you 2. That's 6.
I think the final 9 was probably like when Caitlin left was definitely the time to do it. I think they hit the nail on the head. The hosts.
I was screaming at Michael in chats at that. Why the fuck did they vote Caitlin out? She's not even there.
I'm sorry.
I left because of Caitlin, which was the stupidest fucking thing. I left because Caitlin trusted me and I trusted Connor. Connor tells Caitlin, I want to get Keaton out soon. Caitlin tells me, Connor wants to get you out soon. I tell Connor, hey, is this real? Because I don't believe it's real. Because at that point, Connor was my legitimate final 2, and I was working with him closer than anyone else. And then, at that moment, it's like, fuck it. I was going to get Hearn out, but I guess, and he pops the cap in me.
Connor always wants to flip on his final 2. It's like his signature move.
And then his game tanks. It's
I was telling all the Davises, like, listen, I just played a game with Connor, and he legit flipped on his final 2 friend in real life at the final 12. So, like, he's not to be trusted.
He did the strategically correct thing. I don't entirely hate that Connor did that. Like, I still think that he would have been in a better position, at least short term with me. But it's like he had a half hour left. He found out the information last minute. I still think the move is valid, especially with the target I have. Like, I was the biggest player on that side, besides Connor, who was making a lot of the moves alongside with me. So it makes sense to take me out. I just don't think throwing the vote the next tribal is.
Keaton, did you ever consider throwing making it like a 4-1-1 vote?
I thought that for my game it unravels if I do it in any situation. So I knew that the only person that I do it on is if I know the information that occurs is Connor. That's the only person I can throw it on because I can still keep tribe unity at that point with at least 3. Hearn, Caitlin, and Luke. And then I know that if Connor goes, because Connor goes there at that point. It's going to be a 3-1 Connor goes because the other 3 keep me. Yeah. And then I'd have to have a very long conversation with Brant. I know that's what would have had to happen because I'd have to keep him 5 strong. I'd let him know that it's because he threw his vote at the Benner vote. It's because he voted on the other side to try and frame Hearn. That's the reason I wanted to vote him. I still had trust in him, but at that point I had to vote someone out. And that's the truth. I still had trust in him, but someone had the gut. And I was trying to keep tribe unity. It was easy to say, get him out.
Right. Robbed king.
What?
I said you were a robbed king.
I was so mad we didn't get to play Ben. We were so close. I was like, I'm finally getting to play with Ben. I'm right there. Oh my god! And then I get idled out, and I was mad for 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, I'm done. Like, I meant that when I said that. Like, the only reason I came back was quarantine, and I'm working like crazy now. So,
such a sad day.
I was going to play with Keaton too. I was excited.
I mean, there's a good chance. There's a good chance I'll play with both of you again.
No, there's not.
Ben, play another season of this.
I'm not playing in Trinity. I'm not playing in, yeah.
Fuck you for not playing in Trinity.
I'd also like to throw shade at the jury for being a bunch of bitter-ass bitches.
Word.
Can you not don't throw it at these people, okay? You don't throw it at these people.
No. I did not speak. Let me tell you, I did not speak in that jury once I read the vibe. They all were bitter-ass bitches against me and Jake. Even though they knew me and Jake controlled the whole season, when I walked into the jury, they were bitter against me. Even though they were going to vote for me over all the rest of you, they were still bitter towards me, which doesn't make sense. And then I'm here, and I tried to start defending Jake's game. I was like, Jake, blah, 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 blah. And then they all started shitting on me for, we get it, you and Jake were a final two, blah, blah, blah.
They just mad.
Hearn and Hunter specifically, bitter ass bitches.
Right,
I mean,
Hunter, I'm surprised at.
Oh, we're still recording? Hunter was the most bitter out of all of them.
I'm very surprised.
Constance? Fucking Constance?
That speaks volumes to his game and how he plays. It's crazy.
I thought I had a chance after that jury questioning because everyone was yelling about like not having Murphy connections, and I'm like, hey, I'm your guy. Like,
I thought I lost. I thought you had it, Ben. I'm not even gonna lie.
I thought I had a good. Yeah. I thought you still were gonna win, but I thought that I would at least get like 3 votes.
I thought from the VL Ben had it because I thought Ben would come in and say I was at the bottom of a like dominant alliance and I was able to get here and like I had connections on each side and like.
I thought I had a great argument.
You did, but I don't know. I missed the beginning. I missed your argument, and I left for closings because I had an elimination to run. But yeah, I thought I literally was like, "Oh, Ben's in the final 3. He wins, like hands down."
Ben had
you want to talk
an absolutely great
underdog?
argument, but Jake, I knew Jake had a better game overall.
Ben never made a successful move. That was like my
right.
I've been winning.
Jake deserved it. I mean.
I put a poll in the alumni chat about an hour before the finale started, and I said, who is winning Director's Cut? And then obviously have the 3 finalists. Constance, nobody put Constance. Jake had 5 people, and then Ben had 13.
I heard that I have a lot of fans.
People sleep on me.
I heard I had a lot of fans in the alumni chat. So
Jake, here's what I said. I voted for Ben, and then I said, Jake's gonna win, but I love Ben. Like I knew the reality of what was going down.
Ben had a really good social game, I'd have to say. Like everyone liked Ben. Like everyone liked Ben.
I mean, that's what happens. Ben's just likable.
I'm surprised I got hero of the season because I always like make great connections with people and then I cut them, and I didn't have any chances to cut them this game, and that's why I was hero.
That's the difference. You didn't cut them.
Right.
You didn't have to.
Oh, I also want to say Ben is the only person in this game that ever called me.
I had a great conversation with you, Nicole. It broke my heart to vote you out, honestly. Like, I really wanted.
Well, and I was pissed because I wanted Livingston to go, and I knew they were going to try to pin the vote on you next. And every time Livingston became a vote, someone tried to save him, and I became convinced. I knew the idol had to have been found by somebody, and I'm like, somebody's working with Livingston. There's no way he keeps getting saved for no fucking reason. Why is Livingston still here?
Oh, my throw
and I
was
was on the bottom of that group. Don't act like I wasn't.
Hearing that, my throw was twofold. Part of it, get out, Chrissy. Part of it, save Livingston, because I saw he was so far on the bottom. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need this man.
I was sent me home. But Keaton, I would have had your back.
I would have had your back too.
Probably, because you and I probably are. You and I probably would end up on opposite sides. Who are we kidding? But like
on
you sent me home.
accident, but I would have at least tried to work with you.
On accident.
Nicole had so many friends in the
Livingston didn't
risk it.
If
I don't have friends. Keaton, are we friends? Have we ever played a game together? Do we ever talk?
No.
No.
Oh,
no, never.
It was the Instagram post that got sent around that our alliance of it was a picture of you, Connor, and someone else from the totem pole. And it was like, I love my best. Finally, I got to post it. Me and my best friends are here. And we're like, oh, Connor and Nicole are best friends. So that was it.
Connor and Nicole has talked twice since the game, maybe. I signed a marketing agreement. I had to post pictures from the day that the trailer dropped. Oh. I couldn't post pictures that had any of the returnees in it. So I had to pick somebody I knew, and I had to post a picture on Instagram and Facebook. And I had to update my Facebook and my Instagram picture to be my totem pole picture. I didn't have a choice. I had to do something.
All of a sudden, I don't want to play totem pole. Ew.
Yeah, okay.
Ew.
Well, it's part of marketing marketing the thing. So I mean, that house costs like $6,000.
Sense. All of us talk about the totem pole.
See.
It worked, just not in your favor in an online game.
And I'll watch because of it, probably.
The funny thing is, if you watch the trailer this last just yesterday, you'll see that I literally say, I know I'm coming in as someone's baggage. I know Connor's not going to be happy to see me walk through the door.
Were you Connor's? Are you Connor's baggage in that season?
I don't know. Just watch the trailer. That's
The
all I can
answer's
say.
yes.
I'm just saying it's hilarious because I voted Connor out of every game we've ever played together, and that's the reason I got voted out of this game. So
And in the cast assessment, like Toast said, you were like a mastermind or something. That's what the other thing that was.
Yes.
God damn it! It's
They
just
were
because
like-
I'm a host.
They were like, Nicole knows Oryx more than anyone else in history. And I was like, oh my God.
I mean, you all are right. Like, I think I would have been dangerous to you if Constance hadn't been here because I read you all. Like, I knew who was talking to who. I knew I was at the bottom. I knew the right move was to flip and take out Jake. But if I didn't do it with Constance, my game would be fucked because Constance would have basically.
Imagine if that
exposed
happened.
everything.
Yeah, Constance,
We would have ran my game because we would have got to merge and I would have pulled in my Connor and we would have ran to the end. And I probably would have went to the end with Ben.
I wasn't going to the end with you, Nicole. I'll say it right now.
Sorry, Ben.
No, I mean, I trusted you.
I
It's
would have
just
went to
that
the end with you too because you're the only one that like put the work in.
I wouldn't have won. I mean, I maybe final 5 I would have went with you, but not further.
See, Constance.
I went out at final 5. That's the thing. If I get to the end, it's because I've won out. Because by the time I get to the end, people already think I'm a threat, and so I either win out or I go home.
I do think Nicole would have had a good shot at that final 5 immunity. And while I think that Jake or Ben would have
Jake
smashed
wouldn't have been
anybody
there.
in that final immunity,
Jake wouldn't have been there.
Yes, I know that. But I think they showed obviously that immunity, there was a lot. It took a long time. So, but I think Nicole would have had a good shot in the Fire Making Night Moves challenge. So,
I was so sorry. I felt so sorry for Brian. Like I saw the look on his face, and I was like, oh, like I felt really bad. Like at the very end when you saw you had like 2 moves left, and I had like 5.
I knew, because I wrote it down on my thing. I was like, oh fuck, he's in the prime position. Like, and for future players, they should know if there's one missing piece with the circle around it, you're set. Because Ben was just like boom, 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 all around that circle. And I'm like, fuck, my whole plan is ruined. Because I had that shit written down on my pad. I was like, okay, so Ben's gonna go here, and then I'm gonna go there. Then Ben all of a sudden went there, a different place than I expected him to, and I was fucked because he had that little circle thing that he had.
Yeah, I was watching with a couple of the jurors, because we're just friends, and we were like, what the fuck did Ben just do? He screwed himself over. 2 moves later, wait, what the fuck? That was the prime position. This is bullshit.
I thought he was going the other way, and I was like, and you can see in the
Brandon.
I was smiling. I was like, yeah, I got this in the bag. I got it. He's gonna go there, and I got more moves than him. Then all of a sudden, Ben shoots dart that way, and I'm like, fuck, he's gonna go there. The whole thing, and I was like,
you could see that when Brian realized that he lost, you looked so defeated, and
I kept shaking my head.
And then the worst thing was when Michael was like, Brian, it's your turn, and he just had nothing to do, and it was like 10 seconds.
I felt so bad.
Sorry, guys, my Wi-Fi completely cut out for like 20 minutes.
Brandon, what are your opinions? What juror number whatever? What were your opinions?
Not supposed to be a juror.
Wait, we need to hear from Kevin first. Kevin's been on this forever, and we haven't heard from Kevin.
Well, that's because Kevin has nothing to say. He got out because you threw him out as a pre-bait.
Sad.
It was my
sad
fault.
Kevin went out.
Ben did this?
No, I told Kevin what the plan was.
It was Ben's fault.
He went to everyone and tried to scramble to save Livingston, and that's what got him voted out.
And then Hunter switched the plan from Livingston to Kevin in case of an idol.
But Brian, I assumed it was you. Were you the one that said those 3 played together, get him out? Yeah.
So on the first house call, it was me, Ben, Livingston, and Tim. And they were like, oh, the 4 of us might work together, the 4 of us, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was like a 4-person alliance, low-key, even though it never was a chat.
It was definitely the haha JK unless alliance.
Right. Like, it was talked about but never made. And, but the problem is that I did know Hunter before the game. And
I knew that.
We were friends. Like I was gonna work with Hunter, and then we at that point already had a chat made, and then I tried to like I low key tried to pull Ben around, but then Ben was like, "No, we need to be over here," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not down for that." And that was that. Like, but yeah, I did come around the 3-person Tim, Livingston, and Kevin alliance.
Bold of you to do that when you saw me on the other side. Bold of you to do that.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys for an awesome season. I'll talk to some of you later, probably. But I gotta head out. I'm not in the conversation, so I'm out. But okay, I'll see you guys later.
Jake.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
And I do think that we are going to wrap up the recording. If you guys want to stay and talk afterwards, that's fine.
That's fine.
However, we do thank everybody for playing this season of Surviving 1984. I know a lot of people had a lot of fun, and that's what we try to do with these things is let people have a good time. Also, for a shameless plug, if anybody is still watching, apply for season 5 of 1984 Power of 3.
The shirts! Buy merch!
And buy merch, yes. Merch is available for every single season.
Jake
Fathead
Fathead is now $59.99.
This shirt legitimately looks like actually good, like not trying to just pull favor. Like it look like the logo legitimately looks crisp as shit. Like this is good.
Yeah, I'll put my order in soon.
Everyone buy Murphy. Murphy strong.
Whether you played Surviving or regular 1984, there is merch for every single season. And there's a wide variety of stuff that you can get as well.
Everyone buy a Jack crying mug.
You can get a mug of Jack crying, correct?
We love Jack crying mug.
We love Jack crying.
The Banana Idol mug.
No!
But yeah, to everybody who has followed along, thank you for watching. For all the players who played, thank you for playing. We always enjoy hosting y'all. So that being said, again, thank you.